What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Garage Life RC. My name is Tyson, and today is Tool Tip Tuesday. If you've been following along with the channel, you know that on Tuesdays we bring you a tool tip or some sort of tip. And today, with it being coming upon spring, I've been getting the itch to get out into the garage. Now, I come from a cold weather state, so I have a little bit of preparation to do on my RC cars that have been sitting around for a few months not being ran, or I've been running them in the snow, and they need a little bit of maintenance. So we're going to talk maintenance today, right after this. So maybe you live in a cold weather state and your RC cars have been sitting around for a while. Maybe you don't, and you just haven't really dug around and cleaned them. But one thing that I believe in, that I really enjoy about the hobby, is the maintenance side of it. I love being able to dig through my RC cars, walk through them, fix them all up, getting them maintenanced up, and it's just like your normal vehicle that you would perform maintenance on. And to me, that's just one of the factors to keep my RC car running longer and more efficiently. So I really enjoy doing that. And the springtime is when I start getting the itch to get out and drive, and it's just not quite nice enough yet. It's a muddy mess out there. It's only getting to 20 degrees every single day. But it's getting nice enough to where I get out into the garage and start preparing my RC cars. Now, I have a list of things that I run through on my RC cars, from bearings to the differentials to the gears, just to check everything over. And if I feel like it might need to be replaced, I'll replace it. If I feel like it just needs a good cleaning and lubrication, then I will do that. And I have a list that I run through, and you can find that on GarageLifeRC.com. You can go to the RC setup section. You can download the same sheet that I use, and it's pretty nice because you can just kind of checkbox everything, write down what you did, and put a date on there, so you know, and you're kind of keeping a record log there for that. So to me, that's a great way for me to remember the last time I changed diff oil or shock oil or anything like that on all my vehicles. So when I'm going through these, one of the first things that I tend to do is just give it a once look over and just kind of see what I can see straight out of the beginning that might be wrong. But I don't need to dig into the exact process of how I go through these. If you guys want to know that, feel free to ask. But one of the biggest things that I do is I give it a thorough cleaning so I can see any of the parts that may or may not be broken and anything that could be cause for concern. And to do the cleaning process, I used to use Simple Green, and Simple Green, in my opinion, is a great cleaner, and it needs to be diluted for RC cars. I have noticed over time it starts to deteriorate things, dry things out, and I've gone through quite a few bearings when I utilize the Simple Green process. Now, I know a lot of you guys use Simple Green, and that's fine. If it works for you, keep doing it. That's one of the things that I've always said. If something works for you, nobody's here to say your way is wrong or my way is the right way, or nothing like that. This is just the process that I use and the experience that I've had. So if you use Simple Green and it's been working out great for you, perfect. Keep using Simple Green. More power to you. That's fine and dandy. What I tend to use has been my go-to as of late is Cow RC Moo Clean. Now, I've never really had any experience with Cow RC. I saw an advertisement for them once or something on Instagram, maybe. I don't know. I saw them somewhere and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me go check it out. And then I started reading on their website, and I started researching their products. And to me, that's kind of what sold me on them. I haven't talked to anybody at Cow RC. This isn't paid in any sort of fashion. In fact, you're going to see other companies on here too. But what I like about this is it comes in a nice big bottle with a sprayer, and this is a sprayer that is chemical resistant. And what I mean by that is, if you have ever had a sprayer and you put a chemical in a bottle and then it stops working after a while, it's because the chemicals eat apart the stuff inside of the trigger. Man, words are hard today. But anyway, there's parts in here, it can eat them away, and then all of a sudden doesn't get the suction to suck up the liquid and spray it out. I've experienced a lot of that in my car detailing days. So you have to have a decent nozzle on here. But with that, this has a good scent, which is, I just like. But I can just take it with this. I can spray it all over my RC car. If it's really bad, I'll take a brush and I'll brush it, and then I can just blow it off with my air compressor or an air gun if you have one of those as well. And that works really effectively. It can get the dirt out of places. It's gotten big. You can just kind of see it running off once you start putting it on there. And I've used it on electronics. I tend to try to stay away from electronics as much as I can, but I also just like to do things quick and easy. So I just spray it all over the whole truck, and then I let it sit for a couple minutes and I blow it off. If there's a stubborn spot that I feel like needs to be even more clean, I'll take a paintbrush and get in there and brush it. So once I have the whole thing clean, then I start looking through everything. I will go through everything and change shock oil and diff oil at the beginning of each spring, just so I know it's good for bashing season for when it starts getting nice here and I just got the itch to go. I don't have to spend time cleaning everything. So I'll tear the diff apart, and I will use PT Racing's diff cleaner. I tend to think this works really well. It's fairly inexpensive. I wouldn't say it's the cheapest way that you can get to clean parts out there. And if you use, diff cleaner isn't nearly as important to me as it is as the diff fluid or the shock oil is. I just tend to like PT Racing and the way that they get their chemicals and the products that they have. So I utilize their diff cleaner too. Now, I have used other diff cleaners out there, or brake clean or anything like that, and it works just as good. If you're going to use it on your real car in this instance of cleaning gears, you could probably use it on your RC car, no problem. I don't think you necessarily need something specified for RC cars, but this does work good, and it gets rid of the grease well, and I can just throw it in my cart when I'm ordering shock or diff oil. So for me, I just continue to use their diff clean because I do like to support the RC guys if I have an opportunity to as well. So that works for me. And then my diff oil and my shock oil, I tend to go to PT Racing. I think they have good prices for the size. They're good science behind their diff and their shock oils. It gives consistent runs through heat and cold. It tends to stay more consistent than I've experienced in a lot of times, to where my trucks feel consistent no matter what the temperature is, as to where a lot of times you can see if it's a 100-degree day out, your truck's going to feel a lot different than if it's a 50-degree day out. I don't like having to compensate for all of that, and I found with PT Racing stuff, not only are they a cool company, again, I've never really personally talked to them offhand, but I just like supporting the small companies, I guess, and to me, they just seem like a small company, and fast shipping and good stuff, and it's certified. It's certified. Oh my gosh, it's certified. So anyway, I tend to use PT Racing, and let's just look at it. It's accurate, it's consistent, it's race proven, lab tested, certified, trusted by pro drivers. In between numbers for fine tuning. Oh, cool. Industry standard Centistoke is used. The CST. So I don't know. I mean, it's made in the USA, and it just tends to be the shock and diff oil that I prefer in my machines, and it's never let me down. I've never been disappointed with it. So there's that. And then when it comes to lubricating O-rings, I'm putting the diff back together. I'm lubricating O-rings or just any sort of lubrication. I'll lubricate my drive shafts with a little coat. I tend to go to Cow RC's Utter Butter. Now this reminds me, it's a dark green. It reminds me a lot of like a Castrol grease that you can pick up at an auto parts store. It seems pretty close to the same. It looks the same to me. Again, this is just a preference for me. If you're lubricating RC car parts and you're using something that you would lubricate a real vehicle with, a 1-to-1 scale vehicle, I don't necessarily think that you have to treat them any bit different on that aspect of it. That if you're using something like that, that would be fine. I think you're more beneficial just making sure that you lubricate parts. So again, this isn't about using specific brands. It's more about going through your vehicle, lubricating, changing oils, changing greases, and making sure that your rubbers are lubricated up. So I tend to use Utter Butter. I like supporting the RC companies. I have the ability to be able to do that, so I like to support the RC car companies while I'm at it. And then right before, I got all the things lubricated up. It's cleaned, it's lubricated. I went through the diffs, I changed the shock oils, cleaned up the springs, all that good stuff. I like to take some waterproofer, and this is just a waterproofer you can get from Cow RC again, and it's electronic coating. All right, so I just like to go around my electronics with it. It's peace of mind whether it really works or not on waterproofing a motor or something like that. I just tend to go around my connections. I tend to go around any place that water could get in and just kind of lay it down on there. Now, I think it's more beneficial if you were to actually take the ESC apart or the receiver apart and put it on the circuit board, but I didn't go to that extent. I just kind of put it around there to hope it repels water off. This was something that I just picked up along one time, and it lasts forever, it seems like. So I've just been playing around with it. It's just something that I tend to put in my repertoire now. Again, most stuff already has something like that on, and that's how they label it as waterproof. It's got a coating on it. So you're kind of just reiterating the coating on there, and I don't think that it's not, I mean, there's no reason not to, I guess, if you have it. I wouldn't necessarily say everybody should jump out and go get some and start doing that on their RC cars, but to know that it's out there, and again, that's part of the process that I do. And then to finish everything off, I used to use a graphene or like an auto detailing chemical to shine everything up and protect it. I ran out of that, and instead of buying that stuff again, I went back to Cow RC to support the RC guys, and they have something called Moo Slick, and it comes in a container like this. And it's an RC silicone protector, and basically it says right on the bottle, it forms a dry, dirt-repelling film, ideal for all exposed gears, repels corrosion and dirt, great for suspension parts. So the reason that I always put a gloss or a protectant on mine is because when I'm out there driving around, it gets dusty, it gets dirty. A lot of times you can just blow it right off when you're done if you have your plastics protected. But it also helps repel that dirt from going into the hub carriers, into the drive shaft area, the differentials. It helps repel that to where you're not getting dirt in there and grinding away at your bearings. So for me, I like to just spray some of that stuff on every time I'm done washing it. It also repels water. So if you didn't get water out of all the little crevices and you spray some of that on, it's going to help push that water away. Plus, it leaves just a nice glossy look. I mean, it looks brand new. And if you guys want to see my process for cleaning vehicles, go ahead and comment down below. And if you got any value out of this video, please leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and share this with your friends. Feel free to check out PT Racing, also Moo Clean, Cow RC. I wonder what's behind the cow theme. It's like Utter Butter, Moo Clean, Moo Slick. The whole Cow RC thing is interesting. So anyway, if you guys want the maintenance sheet, go ahead and go on over to Garage Life RC. Sign up for the newsletter if you want, but you can also download the form right there. You'll see a page where I have all my RC setups as well, what I'm currently running. I might make a sheet for that to where you guys can download it and then just email it to me or whatever. I'd love to actually share all your guys' setups on the website as well too. So when people come to the website and they're just looking at setups to go, and I'll give credit to you guys, whoever it is, I'll give credit and maybe throw your Instagram handle or Facebook handle or something on there you could send me a picture of your vehicle or something and your setup. We'll come up with something, but I think that's pretty cool to be interactive with the community where we can all share setups like that. For me, it's a maintenance record. It's a setup sheet of what do I have in this truck right now? I don't know. Let me go look at my website and check out what I have in there because that's the last thing I put in. When you start getting vehicles, a lot of vehicles, it's hard to remember what gearing you have in there, what motor necessarily in there, or when the last time you even changed something is, and just looking at it and seeing what pinion you have in there or spur gear, that's tough sometimes. So I like to have it all written down so I know what mods I've done and try to keep track of the money that I'm putting into them, just because sometimes it feels like you're never doing anything to one, and then sometimes it feels like all you're doing is replacing it. But when you actually look at the hard numbers, you still might not have a bunch of money into the one that you're replacing parts on all the time, but you might have a ton of money into a different one. So it's fun for me to kind of keep track of that stuff and to see what I'm doing. Plus, if you can figure out at the end of the year any tax write-offs, I mean, that's always nice too. So you might as well keep records. But then the maintenance side of it, just to keep track of making sure that I'm going through all my RCs and keeping them well lubricated and clean. Because I'd rather spend $10 on a bottle of chemical that can clean all my RC cars than to have to replace bearings in all my RC cars, or even just one of them. And so protect those bearings. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Don't forget to check out the website. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the socials. You can find me anywhere. But thank you for being the best part of Garage Life RC. That is you, the subscriber, the watcher, the commenter, the liker, the participator, and most importantly, the RC hobbyist. Until I talk to you guys again soon, go out there and perform some maintenance on your RC. Throw the radio in your hand and bash something. We'll see you later.